Hey guys, how's it going? My name is SNKLZ, welcome back, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a build or best build for the Paladin. This is not the Bubble build, this is the Devotion path. This is going to be healer side of the build. So first we're going to look at the character sheet and we're going to have a quick little lowdown. So this is just a quick switch from the Bubble build into the Devotion, but it actually works out really nicely, and it does do very well in dungeons itself. And we're going to have a look at a few things. First of all, we're going to have a look at the hit points are 120,000, and we got these attributes as ability scores as they are now, and from the twisted offhand main hand gives me all this nice looking defense and power and things like that. And just a general quick look over. You can pause the video whenever you want of the character itself, and then we are going to get straight into the build. So of course, you know from my previous videos I am a Dragonborn, and I would recommend it to anyone into pretty much any class, especially if you are looking to do heals and things like that. And the reason being is because I am a of this race, I've got Draconic heritage, so this you receive 5% more healing from all sources and abilities. So that means you gain 5% more healing from yourself, which is a nice one to get, as well as Dragonborn Fury, so your power and critical chance are each 3% higher than that of other races. So the critical chance in this build is not such a major thing, but we would like to have it a little bit up there anyway, because the heals can be crit on allies and ourselves, and that is a big bonus for us. So with the Oath of Devotion mechanic, your healing is increased by 100% when the ally you heal it also increases their stats by 5% for 8 seconds. This effect does not stack and only works if you actually restore HP to the target. So it won't do if you're just keeping them alive and whatever. They have to be taking damage and then be gaining that heal back. Now, I'm going to have a quick look at the ability scores and what I chose. So in this build, we are after Wisdom and Charisma. So the reason being is because we want that bonus healing, a little bit of that crit chance, of course, for that for the extra buffs, for the extra heals. If we crit someone, we will get a nice little heal on them as well as the final one, which is the action point gain. That is what we want. That's what we're here for. And this is also going to be a little bit of a DPS build as well, because you get combat advantage from that as well, but it's mainly the heals, but you do a nice little bit of damage overall as well, which will help your group out. But also, the reason I took this is Constitution, is because you get maximum hit points and damage resistance. Now, your class will need quite a bit of damage resistance, unlike the actual healers who have Gift of Faith. So when your health drops to 40%, it instantly heals. This does take a split second, so you can get one-shotted if there is a big enough damage to enemies around you. But we have got little things in place to cover that anyway. So as I say, you probably are going to want to go with the 20 or the 18 for Constitution when you first pick this character, and as high as possible for this one as well for the Charisma, and then just put all your points into Wisdom and Charisma. So now we've got the ability scores set and we're all nice and dandy on that. We're now going to have a look at powers. So what do we go with? Well, you're going to want to go with Radiant Strike. So this is going to be your at-wills, your left and right triggers, whichever way around, it doesn't really matter. But with this, you're going to gain extra damage and armor penetration. So it's increased by 5% for 15 seconds. It just helps you out and helps everybody else out with a little buff for yourself as well. Then for the main personal, well, we'll go down further for the final one of at-will. So the final at-will is Oath Strike. So you strike your foe with a quick flurry of blows. The final strike of this power changes based on your oath. So we are Devotion. Your healing is improved by 10% for 15 seconds. You also unleash a burst of healing. So of course 10% extra heals, that is great, and it's a long time, so it's 15 seconds addition, so that's a really great one. We are going to want that all the time. So then we go on to the personal features. So Aura of Courage, you're always going to want this in. You and your allies within 30 of you deal 1% of your maximum hit points as bonus radiant damage. So as I say, as we've picked a large amount of Constitution, we are going to want to take this one. It is a big one for this. And then we go further down, and you can either take Aura of Vengeance if you're running in an Epic Demogorgon and you know that your group has got some amount of damage, defense in there as well, and other heals as well. So then you can give your group an extra bit of a buff. You're either going to take this one if your group is very good. Aura of Wisdom if you think that you're not getting your AP gain up as quick as you could. Or the main one which you are going to want is Aura of Life. So this is a big one. So allies within 30 of you who are near death state are revived and healed for 15% their HP. This ally receives Resurrection Sickness. So this is a really, really good one to get. It revives your allies without even using the interacting with them. It picks them up. So you can go over in your Sanctuary, and it does a huge, huge heals. Then we're going to look at the dailies while we're here. So we have Healing Font and Shield of Faith. Shield of Faith is going to be your primary, your go-to daily. This summons a shield to protect your allies for 6 seconds as well as you. Any damage taken by allies is reduced by 30%, and they receive 30% more healing. And with each one, you increase the duration by 2 seconds. So we go up to, 8, 10, 12 seconds of this shield. So that is really good. It is a great one to have. It's your primary go-to. So you can switch Healing Font out. It is a good one, but to be fair, you don't really need it because the amount of heals you're doing anyway is quite huge. So you don't really need this, but it's a good one to put down anyway. So you place a Healing Font for 40 seconds that will attempt to heal any wounded allies within 60 of it. This heal chains to nearby damaged allies and can chain up to 5 times. So this is a good one because it's 40 seconds. You could drop this first, then or use your Shield of Faith, go into a Healing Font, drop that so it's down for a long period of time, and then just keep repping out the Shield of Faith until you have lost your Healing Font. But as I say, Shield of Faith is your go-to purely because you get that extra reduced damage to all your allies. It's a great one. You can swap out Healing Font with, of course, the Divine Judgment, which is going to give you a huge damage buff. Buff, I keep saying that, wrong word. Gives you a huge damage smash, and it just comes down on the enemy. You can do a huge amount of damage. It's a great one for the Paladin to have. But we are going to have a look at the abilities or encounter powers now. So first of all, you are going to probably want to take Burning Light. Big reasons are that when you use this Burning Light, doesn't matter whether you charge it, whether you click it, whatever, you gain a huge amount of action points, and we are going to need that a lot for your Shield of Faith. And with it, Burning Light now heals allies as well, so it does a great amount of damage as well as healing, as well as giving you action point gain, which is pretty much our nice little build in one really there. Then you come further down, and you're going to want to take the Bond of Virtue. This is the first one you want to get up to 4 points. So all allies within 60 become bonded. Allies who are bonded gain 20% increased healing from all sources. Additionally, anytime heal a bonded ally, all bonded allies receive 15% of that healing. So it keeps sharing the heals out and keeps bouncing on and off of people, which is great. It's an amazing one to have. And then the final one you're going to want is Vow of Enmity. So this is another one that the second one you want to place as 4 out of 4. So you select a target of Vow for 60 seconds. You cannot recast this power while it is established. You deal 20% more damage to the target of your Vow, and with Devotion, allies who strike your Vow target are healed. So it's a very good one to have. Not only does it do more damage to the target, but it also heals anyone who attacks that target as well. So you're probably going to want to go for the most damaging enemy there, or the hardest enemy. Great for bosses, things like that. If you are actually in solo mode, I would take out Vow of Enmity and probably put Smite on, or you could put on Smite or the other ones which are like Avengeful, Avenger, can't remember the further one down, Relentless Avenger. You probably wouldn't want them on. It's just to do that extra bit of damage, but Vow of Enmity, definitely going to be using that for bosses. Now, the one that people want is the feats. So, you're always going to go with 9%, 3 out of 3, 9% increased maximum hit points. You definitely want to get that, and you're going to then go for activating Divine Call now. gives you 5% of your maximum AP, because we are all about that AP. Doesn't matter whether you're a bubble build, doesn't matter whether you're a devotion build, it doesn't matter. You're going to want that, because every time you activate Divine Call, you get AP, builds your back, builds up Shield of Faith even more. It's amazing. You want that. The next one we're going to go for is your encounter powers recharge 6% faster. So we have got some encounter powers which are a bit slow and they do take a little bit longer, so we're going to want that Exemplar's Haste. Some people have gone for the damage resistance, but it's not increases damage resistance by 0.5 per something. It's literally 0.5. What a waste of a point. There's no point putting it in there. And then the next one you're going to go for is Impassioned Pleas. You generate 6% Divine Call faster. Of course, we get flashes of that, and you'll see why later on, but it is a great one to have. You 100% want 3 out of 3 out of this one. It gives it back faster, and later on you'll see why you want it back faster anyway. And then you put 1 point into this, 2% more healing from spells. It says you receive, so it's one to put in for it, because you are going to gain some more healing, but at the same time, it's not ally heals, it's you, and you are doing the heals yourself. And then you're going to definitely want 3 out of 3. Each point of wisdom now increases healing by an additional 1%. So we have got, just going to go quickly onto it. Where is it? Here it is. So wisdom, we have 19 points. So you increase bonus healing additionally with ability scores anyway, and then to get an extra 19% from that is huge. You're doing some massive heals in dungeons. It's amazing. It's a great one to do. Definitely want 3 out of 3. And then you're going to put 2 points into here as well. So each point of constitution now grants an additional 1% maximum hit points. You definitely want that to keep yourself alive. You are the healer. You are going to deal a large amount of threat with you doing DPS as well as huge heals. You are going to build threat, so you want as much hit points as you can possible. Now, looking at this build here, you are wanting to go with the justice path. I'm going to say why. You could go with the light if you really wanted, but you do not need to. You do a massive amount of heals anyway. You do not need a full light path. So we're going to go with all the top paths apart from the last choice. We don't want to do that, so we go with Swift Flash. And that's just to get us onto the path. So triggers a flash, granting you increased movement speed for 4 seconds. It over that of Bond of Light increases your control strength. And we don't need control strength. We haven't got anything which controls anyone really. So we're just going to go with the increased movement when we do get it. And then Flash of Light, your encounter powers have a 25% chance to cool down nearby allies' encounter powers by 10%. So it's a great one to have. We are going to be using one of our encounter powers is now redundant, which is Bond of Virtue. When we use that, it's going to be on all the time. You're not going to take it off. So we only have one encounter power really, but you're definitely going to want it. Vow of Enmity is going to be locked. Bond of Virtue is then locked, and it's going to be your Burning Light, which is the one. But you definitely want it on, because if you can cool down people's encounters, that is great. Then we're going to go with Radiant Champion. Your very presence inspires your allies. When you have at least 2 other allies within 30 of you, all you gain 25% more movement speed and 5% cooldown reduction. Great, all of you. So that's another reduction in cooldown, and the movement speed is okay. It's not the best, but we'll take it anyway. So Echoes of Light, your at-will powers have a 10% chance to trigger Echo on you. Echo makes your next encounter power instantly recharge all of your encounter powers. So this is a great one to have again. Burning Light especially, that's what we're after. And Beacon of Hope. Now this is a big one. So activating a daily power causes you to become a beacon of hope for 6 seconds. Randomly, 3 allies within 30 who have taken damage will be healed for 250% of your weapon damage every 2 seconds. So pretty much every time you pop a daily, there is 3 of people out of your group who are going to gain a huge heal, and it's going to consistently keep going the longer it carries on. And we're going to miss out these 2 parts. Prism was okay, but now they've sort of patched Prism and it kind of sucks now, so no one really takes that. Then the final one is Vengeful Judge. Your Divine Call now also applies Judge to yourself for 10 seconds. Judge increases your damage dealt by 35%, which isn't a massive thing, but we'll take it, as well as reducing the cooldowns of your currently recharging powers by 35%. So your encounter powers have a chance to immediately grant you a charge of Divine Call. So this is one thing which is massive. So we've got a big, just like the bubble build, you have a big circle, vicious circle, which is going to do. So we've got over here we've got feats which are for increased encounter powers, recharge time, and also Divine Call. So these two link up really nicely. And then the final point, which is Vengeful Judge, you also have your RB button. Your Divine Call is now gonna recharge your currently encounter powers which are on cooldown, which is great. And then your encounter powers can immediately recharge your Divine Call. So you've got this vicious circle of recharge between your Divine Call and your encounter powers, which is insane. It's amazing to have. And also another thing which is with it, your Divine Call actually does now heal allies as well, which is great. We are going to look at that while I just click there. So your devotion, you unleash a burst of healing in a 30 area. Subsequent casts of this within 10 seconds heal for 50% more. So that's great. It's amazing. It does extra heals. Every time you use it, you're healing people as well. That's a big one. Now we're going to go into the light path. So you heal for 10% more. No brainer. Why wouldn't you put any points into that? Then once you've gone out of that one, you go into this one. Healing spells now generate 10% more AP. So again, you're gaining AP off doing heals. No brainer, you've got to take it. And then the final one is Share the Light. Allies you heal receive 15% more healing from you for 4 seconds. So this is just, again, another big vicious circle of heals. The more heals you do, the better it gets, and the more you can keep them alive. Then we're going to have a look at the boons. We are going to have a look at the boons. So the Storm King's Thunder, I'm going to run over this real quickly because it's not the biggest thing. So when you get there, you're going to take the control resist over the lifesteal severity. Again, as I said this before, this is severity, not lifesteal chance. So you're probably going to want this unless you are a big lifesteal taker. And then we've gone for the incoming heal bonus and 2% Everfrost resist. And again, 400 incoming heal, that is on you as well. That does amplify the more heals you do. And then you want to take Icy Wrath. So chance when taking damage, you gain up to 2000 bonus damage upon your next attack. So this is a great one to have. You're going to take that over the recovery based on how much you've lost. We don't really use stamina gain, like the Sanctity for this build, but some people do use it. If you feel like you like to use it a lot, then probably take this because there is other bits that work with it nicely as well. And then with this, we're probably going to take fire damage. What's that? When you kill a foe, you have a chance to deal fire damage. No, we don't want that one. Your maximum hit points increased by 3,200. That's going to work really, really nicely with Aura of Courage as well as your own survivability. And you get 2% Everfrost resist. And then for this build as well, you're going to want this bottom run. So Frozen Reflection. When you deflect an attack, you deal up to 5,000 damage to your attacker. It's a great one to have. We are going to be still running Deflect on the build as well. I still have the Shadow Clad because it works really nicely and it works greatly with these types of boons as well. Then we're going to have a look at Sharandar, and you're going to want to go with the power over the defense because you're doing heals, so you don't necessarily need that many heals, that much defense. Deflection over the crit strike, we're going to want that. I've gone with the action point gain faster over the hit points purely because you get AP back more. Then when striking a foe, you have a chance to deal up to 20,000 arcane damage. I took that one because there are other heal ones, so when being struck by a foe, you have a chance to heal yourself up to 20,000. And then we're going to go with Fey or Fey Thistle. So when you deflect an attack, just like the Everfrost one in the Storm King's Thunder, you deal up to 3,000 damage to your attacker. It's a great one. It's amazing. For a Paladin, you want to take this. You don't want to take Elvish Fury. There's no point. It's a waste. Then we're looking at the Dread Ring. So I've gone with the power and movement over the crit strike. Power is more important for our build than crit. Lifesteal over the regen, because regen is obviously outside of battle. Lifesteal works inside. Deflect chance or resistance ignored. So people have looked at this as resistance, so then as if it's 2 defense ones, so it's deflect or damage resistance. No, this is resistance ignored, so this is armor pen. We're going to be taking that 3% because we have a huge, with our shadow clad, we don't need that extra deflect chance. Then we're going to go with the Shadow Touch. When dealing damage, you have a chance to deal up to 20,000 necrotic damage over a few seconds. After this effect ends, the target receives 25% less healing from spells. And then for the final one, we're going to go with Burning Guidance. Your healing spells have a chance to burn enemies near the target for up to 2,000 radiant damage. This is one of the biggest boons that we can get for our build. It procs so much, it literally flashes the screen like giving everyone epilepsy. It is insane, it does so much, it's great. Finally, we're going to go to Icewind Dale and have a look at these ones. You want to go combat advantage over the AoE resist. You want to go with the stamina gain over the incoming healing, because that is yourself. And stamina gain, that can actually help everybody else as well. So if you go in your sanctity, it heals everyone else, whereas this is only healing you. Recovery over crit severity, and then when you damage a foe, you have a chance to proc cold shoulder on them, which reduces the damage of their next attack by 2,000. Over the cool resolve, which is the gain 2,000 power based on how much stamina gain you're missing. And then you go with rousing warmth, so chance when healed to gain up to 3,000 damage bonus on the next attack. So rousing warmth is one that procs quite a bit, nowhere near as much as burning guidance, but we are going to want it because it is to do with heals, and it does affect your own healing as well, which is great. And you're going to take that over the avalanche. Avalanche hardly ever procs at all, which sucks. So then for the Underdark campaign, we've gone with the power and hit points over the defense and hit points. We've gone with the crit strike over the lifesteal. We've gone with the combat advantage over the regen. We've gone with the control effects over the regen of the stamina. And then for the final one, you could either go with demons do 5% less damage to you. That's a good one to take, because obviously it increases your survivability. Or you could go with the bottom one, so you gain 10% more damage versus demons. So these are demons specifically. This is going to be epic demogorgon really only, because once you've done all the other boons and things, you don't need the demonic hunter guy when you're walking around in the Dreadring Sharandar and Icewind Dale anymore. So it is only going to be those ones. It's not a major thing, but 10% damage is obviously more than 5%, which is a great one to have. But as I say, if you are lacking a bit of survivability, definitely go for this one. And then for the final ones, we go Tyranny of the Dragons. We're going to go power over the minute little hit points. Go deflect over the crit strike. We're going to go armor pen over the defense. We go with lifesteal over the regen as well. And then for the final one, I've gone with 10% increased incoming healing, so you get a 10% increase on your own heals. You don't want to put any more points into this one. You're probably then going to want to go for the rest of the points. Definitely put 1 point into the grant of lifesteal, and then I've always said 1 in the top one, 1 in the second, and 1 in the third, because you get increased critical severity. So that's a great one to have. If you do a crit heal, it's increased on that as well. And then finally, in these last ones, in the Maze Engine, you go for 400 incoming healing over the lifesteal severity. You go with 400 combat advantage over the control effects. 3% action point gains, no brainer, gotta take it, over the stamina regen. And then you can go with Engine Inspiration. Your healing spells have a chance to heal allies around you for 20,000 hit points. Bish bash bosh, gotta be done. You have to take it for your healing. It increases your burning guidance as well, which is great. And for the other last one is Elemental Evil. We're going to take the power and the 2,000 hit points over the defense and hit points. We're going to take the regen over the lifesteal severity. We're going to take the crit strike and hit points over the recovery, because the recovery is only going to affect our burning light. And then the final one is Gale of Retribution. When taking damage, you have a chance to heal up to 24,000 hit points and increases your crit strike for 10 seconds after this effect ends. So that is the main part of the build on there as well. We're going to have a look at the companions. They are the same as my old ones. We're going to go with the demigod purely from the deflection point of view and the shadowclad enchantment. I did recently change one of the fire. I took the fire archon out and I put Betty the Yeti in here. So you have a 10% chance for your companion to become bloodthirsty, and it increases damage dealt by 7%. So of course this is going to be greatly helpful with your other people in your group as well. Then you've got 25% chance to reflect 10% of the damage taken. So of course with your threat being used and whatever, you're going to deal a large amount of damage back, and the increases damage against targets by 6% when you are at full health. Most of the time you're going to be at full health with this build with the amount of heals you do. And the final one increases your damage against targets not at full health. So as soon as you do damage, this procs. It's a great one to have. He's probably one of the best ones to have out there anyway. And we're just going to have a quick look at the stats again and look at what we've got. So the crit strike is quite high on this one, purely because, as I say, if you manage to get a heal which is a crit, it does a huge amount of extra heals on that. The arm pen is great for the extra damage you're going to produce for your group as well. Recovery is a nice one, but AP gain is the thing that you want most of all. And as I say, look, I got an extra 6% off that and another 5% off that as well. So you get an extra 10% action point gain. Combat advantage is 1,500, which is insane. Defense is 10k. And the deflect is going to rack up as soon as your shadowclad starts to kick in. Your regen is quite high, and lifesteal is okay. The lifesteal chance obviously is only 2%, which is a shame, but the regen outside of battle is good for outside, but you're doing so much heals anyway, it doesn't really matter. We're going to have a look down. Incoming healing bonus. This is one we've been pushing as well. So you get an extra 10% healing to yourself as well, which is great. And the movement is not such a big thing, but you have crit chance there, which is great. 45% resistance ignored, so that's the armor pen kicking in. 10% recharge speed and 40% action point gain, which is insane. 40% damage resistance, and there we go, 10% deflection chance again, as I say, which is increased with your shadowclad if you get that one. Health regen, bonus incoming heals, all sorts of great things like that. 20% stamina resist and or regen, which is insane, by the way. All this adds up. It all does add up. I'm going to have a look at the gear real quick. And of course we are running the twisted main hand offhand purely for the paranoia and the I can't even remember the next one. What is it? Paranoia and bloodlust. There we go. So it either increases your defense or increases your power, and it is a great one to have. We're running the transcendent lightning enchantment, which I would say for you guys, if you're running more DPS, definitely go for the dread enchantment. It does help out your group as well. And we've got the ring of brutality and the ring of defense, which is another great one to have with some rank 11 and 10s on there. And for the belts and the neck, you're still going to go with the greater belt of black ice for this, purely because you get increased charisma and you get increased constitution. You are doing a massive amount of heals as it is anyway, so you don't really need to go with the Tiamat sash and the Tiamat set. But you could do if you really wanted to, and of course you're going to go with the greater cloak of black ice. Then always go with the sigil of the devoted. It gives you 100% of your action points over 15 seconds once you get it, and because it's 15 seconds, it carries on even if you use your daily power, so it's insane. Then I've also gone with the sigil of the great weapon fighter for the extra hit points and power, and also with the sigil of Oathbound Paladin you get 4,000 hit points, which again works with Aura of Courage and Power, which is another great one, and Recovery, which is nice, Armor Pen, and Combat Advantage, which is another great one to have. And the pieces I'm running at the minute are the PvP, the Warborn Gladiator pieces for the PvP. They do work out really nicely for the character, as well as the PvP Warborn arms and the chest, as well as the Burning Gladiator armlet. So that is the headpiece bought from the PvP arena, and it does work really nicely. Gonna have a look at the mounts as well, just quickly while we can. You want to fill these up as much as possible. I've got these 3 mounts here, which are the ones I really want to swap out and get that extra, that final sigil insignia in there as well to get that bonus. But so far we're running a buff for when you use your daily power. You can pause it whenever you want on this one. An artifact buff as well. When reduced to 50%, you receive a heal over time and stamina gain as well. And your companion attacks, you gain power and defense, which is another great one, and move faster when your stamina is high, and regen stamina when it is low. So it again is a nice little one. If I ever have to go into stamina, it comes back a little bit faster thanks to my mount. Anyway guys, if you've enjoyed this video and you're going to be using this build, smash that like button, subscribe for the channel for more stuff just like this. And as always guys, I will see you next time.